I'll move it closer to you.
Good. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, very good.
Still got 6 minutes. Hello, hello. Shalom Aleichem.
Did
How are you, sir?
you make that okay last couple of services?
Yeah, everything was fine. How was your trip?
Baruch Hashem. It
Good.
was so good.
Good, wonderful,
Great wedding, great service, everything.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Check cleared everything.
That's true.
Been there, done that.
Great privilege.
It really is, it really is. The joy.
Yeah.
Good morning, good morning. All of the brave souls who are here. Okay. Boker Tov, everyone. This week's Parsha Shmini records for us the events that occurred on the 8th day of the dedication of the Mishkan. So the first 7 days, Moshe Rabbeinu served, so to speak, as the Kohen Gadol, as the Kohen in the Mishkan. He performed all of the services, brought all of the sacrifices. But now on the 8th day, according to the instructions of heaven, Moshe relinquishes his role, and it is given to his brother Aaron and to the 4 sons of Aaron. And they have Brit Kahunat Olam, an eternal covenant, to be the Kohanim, the priests for the Jewish people. And they retain that title even when there is no longer a Beit HaMikdash or a Mishkan. And because of that, they are a unique group within the Jewish people and are so recognized. Okay. So Moshe Rabbeinu on the 8th day says to his brother, to Aaron, Krav el HaMizbeach, come close to the Mizbeach. Rashi points out that Aaron held back. Even though he knows that he is supposed to be the Kohen Gadol, and that the service of the Mishkan can be accomplished only through him and his sons. Nevertheless, when the moment comes, when he is supposed to now take the place of his brother Moshe and begin the service of Kohanim, he holds back. He delays. So the Moshe has to say to him, Krav el HaMizbeach, come close. Where are you standing back? Why are you delaying coming forward? So Rashi explains that Aaron was hesitant. Why is Aaron hesitant? Because the first sacrifice that he has to perform is an egel, a calf. And Aaron is the one who somehow was instrumental in creating the golden calf. The Egel Azov. So when he's told the Kach Lecha Egel, that arouses within him feelings of doubt and of guilt. We have a rule in the Torah, Ein Kategor Na'aseh Sanegor. The instrument that is used as the prosecuting evidence cannot be used to defend. So if the Egel is the Egel Azov, and Aaron hears that Moshe says, Kach l'cho Egel, take an Egel, he can't reconcile it. Not only that, we can well imagine that the Egel, the sin of the Egel Azov remains with Aaron all of his life. There's opinion in the Meforshim and the commentators that part of the reason that the sons of Aaron were stricken is because of what Aaron himself did with the Egel. So Aaron is hesitant. So, he has to bring an Egel. He doesn't want the Medrash even creates a more vivid scenario. The Medrash says that when he came close to the Mizbeach, to the altar, so the altar had horns, 4 horns at the 4 corners. And if he looked at it head on, it looked like a bull, it looked like an Egel, looked like an animal with horns. So Aaron is constantly reminded of the fact that he was complicit in creating the Egel Azov. Perhaps even more that he was a catalyst. It wouldn't have occurred without him. So how is he supposed to be the high priest? How is he supposed to come forward now and create the holiness of the Mishkan when he is so conflicted? So Rashi quotes then again further that Moshe said to Aaron, you were chosen. So how are we to understand what Moshe told him? So the simple explanation is that even though you helped create the Egel, and even though you are, so to speak, not a perfect person, and the Kohen Gadol is supposed to represent spiritual perfection, Kisif say Kohen Yishmu Das, right? The word of God, they'll search for God through the Kohen. So even though you are not, so to speak, what you think you should be, nevertheless, for whatever reasons, heaven has chosen you. And therefore, Kravelim Mizbeach, come do the job. Don't tell me all the stories of what happened before. Now, the Yetzer Hara in a person is who am I? What right do I have? I'm a sinner. Leave me alone. We find that throughout Tanakh, that the people that were chosen all have somehow blemishes. Even the great Novi Yeshayahu in heaven is punished because he says, because he says criticisms about the Jewish people. Nevertheless, he's the Novi. So he wanted to say, not me. I'm a sinner. You want to send the prophet, send the perfect person. You'll be able to withstand all of the investigations. So that Moshe told Aaron, no, Aaron, you were chosen. We know what the problem is. We don't think that you're perfect. We don't think that somehow you're superhuman. You were chosen. So come and do the work and don't hide under the excuse. Moshe Rabbeinu went through the excuse. He said, Shlach na b'yad tishlach. Send somebody else, don't send me. I'm not the man for you. So there's a tinge of false modesty in people when it comes to public service, it comes to other matters. And people say, not me, not me. And therefore, when Moshe says you were chosen nevertheless, that comes to teach us that we're not looking to Aaron for perfection. We're looking to Aaron to fulfill what God has ordered him to do. That's one idea that lies in this story. There's a second idea. You were chosen for this reason, meaning you were chosen because of your modesty, because of the fact that you are so hesitant, because of the fact that you're aware of your deficiencies and you're not anxious for the job. That's why you were chosen. That's why you're the person I chose. And the famous anecdote, I think I've mentioned it to you numerous times, that when in the 1830s in Russia, the Tsar gave permission for certain Jews to be able to live in St. Petersburg, which was the capital of Russia then. And Jews were not allowed to live there. But there was a class of Jews that were well-connected, wealthy, some of them intellectuals, that they somehow were able to have permission to live in St. Petersburg. You went to St. Petersburg and you saw the Choral Synagogue. They have the chair there for Baron Ginsburg and the other ones. So Rabbi Yisrael Salanter said to his disciple, Rabbi Itzela Peterberg Blaser, Yitzhak Blaser, he said, I want you to go to St. Petersburg and you become the rabbi for these people in this bubble, in this shul. Now, the shul had a lot of haskalah in it. And people were not known for their piety. It was a hotbed of new ideas. So Rabbi Tzele said, the Rebbe, he said, I'm afraid to go. Who knows what will happen with me? Because we're all influenced by society. So eventually we become what the society inflicts upon us. He said, I'm afraid to go. So Rabbi Yisrael answered him and he said, whom shall I send? Someone who is not afraid? You can only send people who are afraid. So Moshe told Aaron, that's why he's sending you, because you have this hesitation. Because you are afraid. Because you are aware of your imperfections. And therefore, that's exactly why you're the one that was chosen to be the Kohen Gadol. Come, Krav Mizbeach. So that's the second idea. There's a third idea. I mean, the Torah is limitless. Part of the task of the Kohen Gadol, especially on Yom Kippurim, was to bring forgiveness for the Jewish people. L'chaper al b'nei Yisrael mikol avonoso. The Mefarshim say very clearly that you cannot help someone else if you do not have some connection to the experience that the other person is going through. It's one of the difficulties in psychology and in the mental health field, that sometimes you can have someone that is very knowledgeable and has the right personality, but he has no empathy with the patient. I remember my Rebbe used to always say that you should go to an old doctor, not to a young doctor. So somebody said, but the young doctors know more. They have the latest education and techniques. So he said, an old doctor, his back bothers him, his leg hurts him, he's had pneumonia. He'll have empathy with you. The young doctor is in perfect shape. He just ran the marathon. So he thinks that you're just a kvetch. You come and complain. He said part of healing is empathy. To feel the other person. That's very hard to have. But I, for instance, I remember in my yeshiva, the Rabbeim that I had, all of whom, or at least most of whom, had very difficult experiences in yeshivas when they were in high school. In fact, the Menahel, the chief Rebbe for the high school, with someone that was expelled from his high school. And I found that to be a great insight because he understood the kids, because he was one of them. And he was able to deal with it because it happened to him. If you take somebody that's 100% that never had the problem, so for instance, there are some people who are good at mathematics, and there are some people like me who never quite got it. So if you're good at mathematics, so you take a course in calculus, Mahabaya, what's the problem, right? You know what you're doing. I struggled with high school trigonometry. I never went even to calculus because it didn't speak to me. I had no experience with it. So Aaron's, Moshe says, because of the fact that you, so to speak, transgressed, that's why we want you to be the Kohen Gadol. You will have empathy with the Jewish people. You'll understand how even for the best of motives, a person can come to commit a terrible sin. So you'll be mechaper for Klal Yisrael because you feel it. You're not a stranger to it. And that's why Chazal said, Ein memanim parnos al hatzibur, ela im kein yesh lo kupa shel shrotzim al shichmo. We do not want to have perfect leaders. That was mentioned here in Eretz Yisrael, we're machmer on that. But you don't want to have a perfect person. Because a perfect person can't deal with the problems that people have, that 99% of the world deals with. Famous anecdote, the Dubner Magid used to come once a year by the Gaon of Vilna. The Gaon brought him that he should give him Musar. So the Maggid said to him, Rebbe, what Musar can I give you? You know, not a minute goes by without your learning Torah. You don't do anything that's worthy of criticism. So, but the Gaon said, no, but tell me. So he said, well, the only thing I'll tell you is as follows. You're sitting here in your room 365 days a year, studying Torah 16 hours a day. Your whole mind is Torah, everything. So you're the Gaon of Vilna. He said, why don't you go out in the fish market? Let's see if you're the Gaon of Vilna there. So he told him, Sakuntz, what is that, a trick, a great accomplishment that you're doing? So it is said that the Gaon wept when he heard what the Maggid told him. But the Gaon answered him, he said, who says that I have to perform kunsa? Who says that I have to, so to speak, do, but nevertheless, the criticism is there, you know, if you sit, you know, I remember my late brother-in-law, so for a year he taught the laws of Choshen Mishpat to the 12th grade at a certain famous yeshiva high school in New York. At the end of the course, all the laws of business, of partnership, the laws that are basically based upon honest dealing. I used to call them anti-Gneva laws. So one of the students raised his hand and asked him in all seriousness, but Rebbe, what if you're in business? In other words, these laws are good if you sit in the kollel and you're learning and okay. What if you're in business? So that's what Moshe told Aaron, Krav el Mizbeach. It's your very imperfection that is the reason that we want you to be the Kohen Gadol. A final stream on the matter. Ki lekach nivcharta, you were chosen. Famous idea of Bali Musar. It's also found in Chassidus. Every person is born with a mission. Most of the time, we don't know what the mission is. In Chassidus with the Baal Shem, the mission is to give a kopek to a poor person in a little village that you don't know, or to host a stranger, or to do something else that is mundane, but that was your mission. That's why you were sent here. But then there's some times that we know that we have a mission because we are given certain talents. We're given abilities. We're given opportunities. Person that's born to wealth, so his mission is to deal with wealth. A person that has the ability to sing beautifully, so his mission is to use that talent on behalf of Torah and morals and the Jewish people, etc., etc. And the Bali Musar say a psychological insight that we only find satisfaction in fulfilling what our mission is. That makes us feel good. People have a mission to build a family, so that's what makes us feel good. People have a mission to teach when they can teach, so then they feel good. They get up in the morning, they want to do it. Most frustrations in life, the Bali Musar say, come from the fact that we're not fulfilling our mission. We know it somehow, but we can't define it. We can't express it. But there's a dissatisfaction. There's a statistic that the average worker in the United States will change his job almost 10 times in his lifetime. He's looking for the right thing to do, the thing that satisfies him. It's hard to find. So Moshe told Aaron, Kravel and Mizbeach, that's your mission. You'll never be happy in whatever else you do. Your main achievement in life is to fulfill your mission. And if we look at life in that fashion, therefore, So again, the mission can be a very mundane thing. These small things. I knew a Jew in shul that would greet everyone that came into the shul. Someone once asked him, "What you greeted him yesterday? Why do you have to greet him today?" And he said, "That's my mission. I was put here to greet people." That's an insight into oneself. So when Moshe tells Aaron, "Krav el mizbeach," come do your mission. Don't tell me all the problems. Do your mission. And in doing your mission, so then you'll fulfill the purpose that the Lord put you here. And that's the idea of the Kohen Gadol, because he represents the fulfillment of that mission. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and stay dry and stay warm. Next week, again, God willing, we'll have the Parsha Shiur. Just have a great Shabbat.
Thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Wein.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
I don't know, it's gonna be an idea from this question. I don't know the depth for it. And that is, these kavanas are sometimes for individuals. And sometimes they're for everybody. And it's my feeling that if you have studied, you should figure out when there is a collective responsibility for something, and then there is not. It's a very tough issue. When am I responsible just for being part of the family?
That is a tough issue.
And I'm wondering if the clues are in the types of kavana.
Very well. Example.
Yeah.